Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time, I'm continuing, since I'm done with the Cube series, I'm continuing Vincenzo Natali's filmography as director. So I have 5 more movies left, and I'm starting off with, or continuing with, Cypher. It's a 2002 sci-fi thriller film directed by, again, Vincenzo Natali, and it stars Jeremy Northam, Lucy Liu, Nigel Bennett, Timothy Webber, David Hewlett, and Carrie Matchett. In this film, an unsuspecting, disenchanted man finds himself working as a spy in the dangerous high-stakes world of corporate espionage. Quickly getting way over his head, he up with a mysterious femme fatale. So, what did I think of Cypher? Well, this is a review where I actually don't want to talk about the ending, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. This is one of those films where I think the very best thing you could do is go in blind and just know that this isn't like an action movie. It is more of a kind of like building sci-fi thriller that is building up to what I'd say is a pretty great ending. And I'm kind of neck and neck on if I like this more than Cube. I think I like Cube slightly better now, but I do still really enjoy this film. I think this, if you haven't seen this and you're looking for a not very well known sci-fi film that's a bit more smart with its script and everything than others, then this is for you. But let me get to the cast. Jeremy Northam plays Morgan Sullivan. He's a business guy, um, or a businessman. You don't really know much about him, who becomes a spy. And Jeremy Northam is an actor that I've seen some things. He was in Mimic. I really like Mimic. He was the villain in The Net with Sandra Bullock, which I think is um a fun movie. Uh, I could definitely watch that again, and I've never seen the sequel. But he's an actor that's been in quite a few things. I think this is his best performance. In The Net, he's fine as a villain, but I do think that here he gives a very layered performance. He's playing kind of multiple roles. It's the same guy, but under different aliases. Um, and he has to basically play a new character with all of them. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that about his performance. Um, Lucy Liu plays Rita Foster. She's again, mysterious femme fatale that he keeps meeting. I think she does well in her role. I think I can buy her as being mysterious and everything. Nigel Bennett plays Finster, the not that Finster, but he's the leader of Digicorp, and he's the one sending Sullivan on all these different. I like this actor. I've seen him in random stuff. Apparently, he was in Shape of Water, Murder at 1600, which I haven't seen and I want to get to. Darkman 3. But yeah, good actor. Timothy Webber plays Calloway. He's the head of Suncor, which is another company that wants Sullivan to spy on Digicorp for them. He was fine. David Hewlett plays Virgil C. Dunn. He's the owner of these like information headquarters. He comes in kind of near the end of the film. I love David Hewlett. I love what he does with this character. He has some fun lines. Uh, there's this one bit where he's like, security's tighter than a nun's asshole. Like, I was like, okay, this guy has some cool lines. And Carrie Matchett plays Diane, who is Morgan Sullivan's second wife, and if you've seen the film, you know what I mean. Like, it's his cover wife. Carrie Matchett does a good job here. She doesn't do a ton, but she works. And first thing I want to mention, Vincenzo Natali, I swear, I think it's in all of his films. David Hewlett is, I'm pretty sure David Hewlett is in all of his films. one of the film I want to do next has David Hewlett and the the guy who played Kazan in Cube, Andrew Miller. Uh, so that's cool. He's yeah, like David Hewlett's a character actor from Canada who appears in quite a few, again, Canadian films, and I'm pretty sure all of Vincenzo Natali's films. I don't know about In the Tall Grass, but yeah. It's always nice to see him. And Carrie Matchett is interesting. This film, the same year that Cube 2 came out, this comes out, and this is easily a million times better than Cube 2. But it's still cool to see Carrie Matchett in another film, from, uh, like, instead of Cube 2, to see her in an original film from Vincenzo Natali. And the one thing I really want to talk about here is that this film got labeled really quickly as a Matrix ripoff. And I really don't see that at all. The same thing happened with Existenz and other science fiction films like Equilibrium, which Equilibrium is one of my favorite movies ever. Sue me. And Equilibrium, the only thing I could really say connects that to Matrix at all is there's some flashy action at times, even though it's not really an action movie, there's some small scenes, but there's some impressively choreographed and cool looking action scenes, especially since they're pretty originally done. It's not just slow-mo shooting like in The Matrix. And Existenz is like something complete, like VR, I guess is as far as you could say. But here, this has absolutely nothing to do with The Matrix. Not a thing that seems anything familiar. Because what you have here is kind of a spy thriller, but also sci-fi, in that there's like something to do with brainwashing and making people like tricking these people. I'm not gonna like, again, give away a lot, but there there's a part of the movie where you it's revealed that Digicore is brainwashing these people and making them think they're taking out, like, carrying out tasks for them. And it's it's one of those thrillers where if you don't pay very close attention to what's happening at any given time, you will be very fucking confused. And I have seen this film a couple times now. Hence why I have this German Blu-ray, which is cool. I'll definitely have to take a look at the special features. There's also Vincenzo Natali's student film, which I think I've seen elevated. But yeah, I think Natali definitely as a director is just in insane with this movie because on the surface it is kind of a small scale sci-fi film. It's not like in one room, but it's not like you'd see with like a spy thriller like a James Bond movie where it's kind of got some like usually some cool gadgetry, some um explosive action scenes, especially with the Pierce Brosnan era, which I think have the best action scenes of the entire Bond series. Best choreographed, most explosion heavy. Um, but here, and I'm not saying this as a knock to it, it's a bit more of simple in how the world works. A lot of the spy stuff is like a random person who just looks like an normal old lady or a woman at a checkout center could be working for one of the bad or one of the spy companies and and giving a message in a cryptic way to our main character. I enjoy that type of spy movie. I enjoy both types. I enjoy the over the top and I enjoy the kind of simplified. And I say simplified again in terms of environment and in terms of delivery of how the story goes. Well, just mostly environment because the story is pretty layered, I'd say. And again, if you do not pay attention to this movie and you're just like, oh, where's the action scene? Even though there's no action in this film. This is not an action movie. Somebody gets shot, that's about the most action that happens. And I will say, if you are not in the mood for this type of movie, I do not think you will get into this. If you want a like super fast paced like action movie, if you're in that mood, do not watch this movie. Because there was one time where I did watch this when I wasn't feeling like a sci-fi movie that's like slowly paced. And it's not really slowly paced, but I'll get to that. But I watched it when I was in the mood for something like actiony, and I didn't get super into it. That is a caveat with this film. If you do not want an action film, like this poster kind of makes it look like an action movie, I'd say, because it's like Lucy Liu hanging and their faces and all that. And whoa, just a second there. Uh-oh. All right. But yeah, this is not an action film in the slightest. So do not go into this looking for an action film. If you want something that's a bit more thought-provoking, sci-fi, like kind of mind-melty in a way, if you catch my drift, then definitely go for it. But let me talk about other things I liked about it. Um, the I do like that the plot did keep me guessing. Again, this isn't the first time I've seen it. I'm talking about my experience first seeing it. I like that the film keeps making you guess, like, what's going on? Is there more to this? As it kind of just throws you into it in a good way. The visuals of the film, there's some really amazing shots. There's a shot with like main character driving through like a suburb from super high in the clouds, and I'm guessing they achieved this like through CGI or something or some type of effects, but it looks really good. Um, there's a shot of the building as he's driving away, the Digicore building, where it's kind of like moving like this as with the camera. Some really beautiful cinematography that's also very simple. Uh, excuse me. Some of the sets and some of the visuals of just certain sci-fi tech in this. Excuse me, like the information room that's like gold and everything, like constantly sparkling and things as they walk down through it. If you look up the gold room in Cypher, you'll know what I mean. It's very breathtaking. The film had a budget of $7 million, and they've stretched it quite a bit in terms of like scale. Um, Jeremy Northam again, very impressive performance here. Basically, just playing multiple characters in a way because he's a spy and he has to pretend to be other people. And he does a great job differentiating the different parts of him or different, different people he's trying to pretend to be. Um, and again, the musical score from Michael Andrews. I wish there was an official like audio version of this online. There is apparently a CD, but I am not paying $100 for the soundtrack. I'm not that committed. But if somebody is aware of somewhere online I could listen to it, that would be awesome because I've loved the soundtrack from again Michael Andrews. Did a great job. And the twist at the end. And again, do not look up the twist. Even if you do know the twist, the film is still very engaging in seeing how they get to the twist because they do hint at it very well and it's very well built up too, so it doesn't just come out of nowhere. But yes, just go into this film blind. My only issue that keeps me from giving it a 10 is that, and I know I say this way too much, I think the film does sag um, in places with its pacing. And it's not too long. That's not the thing. It's 96 minutes. It's not too long at all. I just wish it didn't lag in a couple places. I felt like some places it kind of stayed on something a bit too long. But overall, I definitely do recommend this film again to people who want like a bit of a smarter science fiction movie, and especially one that not a lot of people talk about. But yeah, that was my review of Cypher. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door out.